The smartest way to 10K a month on Amazon KDP is not making low content books or even high content books. It's not about making as many books as possible, hoping that one of them will sell. And it's not about spending days, weeks, or even months creating all of the books yourself. You see, over the last few years, Amazon KDP has gained a ton of popularity as a business model. But at the same time, most of the advice online is outdated and only really worked 2 or 3 years ago before advancements in technology and AI specifically. And if you follow this advice, you're gonna end up like most people, spending hours on creating books that don't sell, being at the mercy of the Amazon algorithm, and eventually giving up when you realize you're not actually making any money from Amazon KDP. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to avoid all the outdated strategies that most beginners are making when starting out on Amazon KDP, how to pick the right niche, keywords, and book in 2024 to make sure that the content you're actually creating is leading to sales. And finally, I'll show you how you can actually create these high quality and profitable books without spending hours and hours creating them. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Sam, and over the last 4 years, I've built my own 6-figure Amazon KDP business that has allowed me to quit my full-time job and now live my dream life. And I'm using this channel to give others the help that I wish I had when I was first starting out on Amazon KDP. And since I'm still in the trenches every day continuing to grow my own KDP business, all the advice you get here will always be the most up-to-date strategies that are still working now. So before we dive into the smartest path to making 10K a month on Amazon KDP in 2024, we need to understand why so many people aren't getting the results they want in the first place. Because with the amount of free information already out there, you'd imagine most people would have been able to figure it out on their own. But here's the problem. With every piece of high quality advice out there, there's at least 5 to 10 pieces of really bad advice from all of these fake gurus. Now, why is this happening? Well, despite gaining a ton of popularity in the last few years, Amazon KDP is still a very much unexplored world for many people. And it's not like dropshipping or Amazon FBA where there's already so much information about all the up-to-date strategies already online. So what happens for these newer types of business models is that you get a bunch of influencers who are new to the game, all trying to get a piece of the pie. And because of that, the market gets flooded with pieces of basic advice that doesn't actually help anyone. On top of that, because you have all of these gurus online giving you surface level information, telling you that KDP is this quick and easy way of making money, you see a bunch of beginners copying all of these low value strategies and getting burnt because of it. So with that being said, what are the most common pieces of bad advice that people are still blindly following, and how can we make sure to avoid them? You see, the main reason so many people give up on Amazon KDP in 2024 is because they say it doesn't work or it's just way too competitive. But the truth is, it only doesn't work or it's too competitive if you're following all of this advice that was good and relevant 2 to 3 years ago, but just simply doesn't work anymore. So more specifically, what are most people doing wrong at the high level? Firstly, it all comes down to their niche research. So many people are just making books they feel like they want to make or they think that will sell well, rather than following real world sales data. They generally just stick to creating books that align with their interest, have some sort of reason to make them, but these books don't sell anything on Amazon KDP because guess what? Nobody's actually after them. A lot of people also lack a proper marketing strategy, whether that's a really poor book cover design that simply doesn't attract any customers at all, or launching a book with absolutely no strategy in mind about how you're going to scale those sales through Amazon ads. You see, again, 2 to 3 years ago, you could easily get away with very average looking book covers and having really basic, low spending ads and having absolutely no Amazon ads or any form of marketing to push your book sales. But in 2024, now that KDP is a lot more popular, you simply have to take these two things into consideration and have proper strategies for both. And the big mistake that so many people are still making on Amazon KDP is that they value their money way more than they value their time. And this generally results in them doing all of the work themselves. They're spending 4, 5, 6 hours a day just creating books. But the problem is they're spending all of their time on really low value tasks that aren't actually going to move the needle for your KDP business. These people think that just because they're not investing any money into the business, they're not actually losing anything if their books don't sell. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because instead of investing money, you're investing all of your time that you're never ever going to be able to get back, and you're just producing assets and books that nobody actually wants, and you're just completely wasting all of your time. So now we know all the dumbest ways to build an Amazon KDP business. What actually is the smartest way to building a 10K a month Amazon KDP business? Well, first, we have to define what smartest means. The reason I didn't title this video fastest or easiest way to 10K a month on Amazon KDP is because these things don't take into account factors like cost, difficulty, and quality. And actually, most people I speak to who want to get into Amazon KDP are usually busy 9-to-5 workers with a full-time job who are looking for something that doesn't drain their bank account just to get started, doesn't require hours and hours of effort every single day, and isn't just some low-quality garbage like copy and pasting journals from the internet. But of course, we still want to hit 10K a month as quickly and efficiently as possible with taking all of these things into account. So with that in mind, what's the smartest way to achieve this goal? Now, the first thing that you absolutely need to be doing is strategic niche selection. More specifically, using data-driven methods to identify low competition niches that meet the market's demands. Or in simple terms, low competition, high demand niches. Like I said earlier, a huge mistake so many people make is just publishing books in niches that they have an interest in or they think might sell themselves without having any sort of data to actually back this up. But if you really want to be successful with Amazon KDP, you need to allow the data from all of this research to dictate exactly what books that you produce. Now, if you want to just be an author or create books around your hobbies and interests, then that's totally fine. But if you actually want to build a sustainable business, you simply need to be following the data, and especially in your niche research. Now, as a general rule, if a niche has 3 or less books that are very, very similar to the kind of book that you're looking to create, then I would say that is good enough level of competition. Any more than 3 books, generally speaking, is just too much competition. Now, it's also important to factor in the book ratings of your competition. So if you have 3 books in your niche that are exactly like the one you're looking to produce, but only 2 of them are above 4 stars, I would only class that as 2 competitors. Because this third book, although it's clearly had sales in the past, customers aren't liking it and it's not satisfying what they need, and I therefore would not class that as competition. If anything, it's a good sign because it shows that you can swoop in and take that spot. Now, the second thing that a good niche absolutely needs is to have high customer demand. And again, a great way of seeing if a niche has demand is by typing in a very relevant keyword to that niche and seeing what examples Amazon are suggesting below that. For example, if you typed an animal coloring book for kids onto Amazon, you would see all of the related search terms that come back around the theme of animal coloring book for kids. You have different ages, you have different genders, you have different styles of coloring books. That shows that there is so much demand around that given niche, and you can kind of pivot into different sub niches around it if you want to. Just a heads up, this animal coloring book, although there is loads of demand for it, obviously there is also so much competition, so this isn't necessarily a niche I would publish in, but it's just a good example of how you can see how much demand there is for a given niche. Now, the second thing we need to do to ensure we achieve our goal is to produce medium content books rather than low content books. You see, low content books used to do really well on Amazon KDP where there was so much less competition because all of the pages are just exactly the same and repeated throughout, like anything in a journal or a logbook or anything like that. You could just download all of these templates online, stick them in a book, and upload 10 to 20 of these every single day. But what does this mean? This ultimately means that as KDP becomes more popular, so many more people are producing these kinds of books, and it is just way too saturated now to make a really decent income from Amazon KDP. Instead, if you focus on medium content publishing, which is focusing on creating bespoke interiors, things like activity books, color by numbers, different styles of coloring books, where each individual page is not just unique to each other, but also unique specifically to your book, and no one else has access to that interior, you will find you'll have a lot more success from Amazon KDP doing it this way. And I know what you're thinking. A lot of people might also be suggesting creating high content books on Amazon KDP in 2024. But for me, especially if you're a beginner, these books can be very complicated to actually bring to market and can also be very expensive to outsource and have produced for you. Whereas medium content combines the simplicity of low content publishing and the scalability of high content publishing. So in my opinion, is exactly where you need to be to get to 10K a month on Amazon KDP as effectively as possible. Now, if that wasn't convincing enough, I have my own evidence to support this. I've produced over 900 books on Amazon KDP, and 95% of those have been low or no content books, and only 5% have been medium content. But in fact, 95% of my income comes from just this 5% of my medium content books. They are driving the vast majority of my sales, despite only taking up 5% of my entire book portfolio. And that just shows how much more powerful quality medium content books are than low content books. I've witnessed it exactly myself. And that ties in nicely to the third thing you need to be doing to make 10K a month on Amazon KDP, and that is focusing on quality book content creation. As I mentioned previously, just copy and pasting or downloading all of these interiors that everybody else is using is not going to cut it in Amazon KDP in 2024. You need to be making bespoke interiors that you know the market actually wants. Now, I actually covered this strategy in a lot more detail in a recent video that I will leave on screen here. But essentially, you need to be building your book from scratch about what the customer wants rather than what you think should be good in a book. So in order to do this, look at the negative reviews of all of your competition, see what customers are complaining about, looking at the good reviews, what do they really like about current offerings, and then merge the two to create this unique bespoke product that you know customers are actually wanting from their book. So as always, less high quality content will always beat more low quality content. And now the final thing you need to be doing to make 10K a month on Amazon KDP is to have effective book launch and marketing strategies. Again, you're probably sick of me talking about 2 or 3 years ago, but back then you could also just launch a book, spend no ads on it, have no proper launch strategy, and it would still be a success simply because there was just so much less competition. But these days, if you actually want to have a book that's generating you hundreds or even thousands of dollars every single month, you need to have an actual strategy in place for your book marketing. Now, before you panic, this doesn't mean you have to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars every single month on Amazon ads, but it means you need to at least have some sort of strategic plan. You see, the first 30 days after your book is published is really important on Amazon KDP because it will tell Amazon and their algorithm just how good this book is. So what I recommend to a lot of people is to go a little bit aggressive on your ads in your first 30 days, get a few sales, and then your book can gain traction in the algorithm. And then once it's kind of up there and making sales, you can start pulling back in this ad spend. So although that's in very simple terms, what I'm saying is you need to have some sort of strategy once you've launched your book to allow you to make a lot of sales. Now, I have loads of videos on my channel talking you through exactly how you can run Amazon ads, so I recommend you check those out if you want more specific information on any of these marketing strategies. I'll leave the links to all of those in the description down below. So as you can see, there's a lot that actually goes into building a successful Amazon KDP business in 2024. And no, it's not as simple as just spamming the market with loads of low quality books created by AI or downloaded from the internet. But one thing I've learned is that nothing worth having in life comes easy. If it was, everyone would do it and it wouldn't even be valuable in the first place. And Amazon KDP is exactly the same. But what I can tell you is that building a successful Amazon KDP business is absolutely worth it, since that's what's allowing me to live my dream life like I currently am. So this video was a high level overview of the strategies that are currently working well that can allow you to make 10K a month on Amazon KDP. If you really want to dive into a lot of these strategies in detail, like I said, I'll link a few of these videos down below in the description for you to watch. And if you're somebody who wants to take things really seriously and give yourself the best chance of Amazon KDP success in 2024, then I'll have another link down below in the description to my free training where I can show you exactly how I can help you achieve that. And if you want to learn about some of the strategies that I've talked about in this video, then you can click here.